You are starting off. This is remember what she said, Teddy, about the hot mess? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is episode 1 of the bunker.
Yeah.
I mean,
That-
come on.
this is the hot mess.
Is it live, guys? I think we're live, right? It's going well.
It should be. Yeah, I mean, you're live. Now I'm just trying to make sure we have sound.
Jeremy, tell me if we have sound, and then I'll start.
Yes.
It's working
if
now.
we don't have sound, somehow make sure to... Okay, so it's working now. I was going to say, if we don't have sound, tell us we don't have sound.
Hello, survivors. I have an intro. I do. I'll get to it. Welcome to the bunker. This is RSG, Reality Skew Gamers. We're every Friday night here at 9 Eastern, bringing you roundtable discussion, covering news, strategy, tips, what we're thinking about, what we like, what we don't like, in State of the Survival. So we appreciate you guys joining us and tuning in. I'm your host, T. McVenom, joined by my panel here. I have regular, which is Finn, of course. Delete will be on hopefully soon. He's traveling, but he never misses a show, so he'll probably jump in later. We have Mako here, who you've seen him before as a guest from 125. And we have a super special guest that I'm so excited about being on because I love her content. She is my go-to resource for anything. When I have a question, I just pop into a chat or a Discord and I ask her the question and she pops back with it with this like encyclopedia of SOS knowledge. And I love her so much. Her name's Teddy. She's with Savagery Gaming. And you may know her also from the Collab group. Teddy, thank you so much.
Hi, guys.
Thank you for being
Good morning.
with us. We appreciate it. It's night for me. It's 9
Pleasure is
p.m.
mine.
What time is it for you?
It's 9 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. So you're wide awake.
And it's nighttime for my buddy.
Oh. So yeah, it's 9 p.m. here for me. I don't know, Mako, you're East Coast too, I think, right?
Midwest.
Oh, Midwest, that's right. Yeah, we'll get into a little bit more about Teddy and what we're going to talk about tonight, but I just want to say thank you guys for joining. If you're here in the chat, please say what's up so that we know you're here, and hit the like button and the subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate it. We want to give before we get started, a special shout out to our coffee sponsor, which is Zombie Coffee. It's a RSG State of Survival sponsor. Be sure to check them out on Facebook or in person in Columbia, South Carolina or Athens, Georgia. They're available for online orders or anywhere in the country. And we love them and we appreciate you, Zombie Coffee. Okay, so yeah, let's get to it. Tonight's going to be about heroes. Well, actually, I should probably give a shout out. But let me give a shout out really quickly to everyone in the chat. Oriz, Comrade, Mayor. That's your friend, right, Teddy?
Yeah.
Comrade Mayer. I was going to say
Hello,
Meyer.
comrade.
I was going to say Meyer like Oscar Mayer.
Say hello to the comrade correctly.
Oh.
I'm not friends with them when I'm online. They're stalking me.
Hello, comrade.
Hello, comrade.
Hate me more, please. That's a funny name. Jeremy123, Lonely, Froggy. We have Ronnie K, Daniel T, Letty. So sus. You're so sus, Letty. Buzzsaw and the Tyrant. Kara. Hey, Bay. Here's my Kara. And Leo. I know that name, Leo. He's with the Collab Team too, right? Is he with the Collab Team, Teddy?
Yeah, he is. He is a core team.
He always has really good comments too. I like seeing his comments when we have good questions, good answers. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And so Teddy, tell us a little bit about what state you're in, what the Collab Team does, because I don't know if there's some new people watching that don't know about I don't know anybody that doesn't know about the Collab Team, to be honest, but tell us about some stuff.
So Collab Team is a team started by me and Request. So we used to do some files for the community before, because the game doesn't provide files like SOTF files, like all the files. They don't really release that. And I started by myself, and then Request started by himself as well. And then we met in Sticky Fan Gaming Discord. That's where we met. And then we started to collaborate. And then he said, why not, instead of doing it individually, we do it as a team? And then that's where we started. So Request, me and Request build the files. We have a massive file to build. And then there were only 8 people, 7 men and 1 girl doing that before.
7 men and 1 girl. I've got it.
Yeah.
RSG is
So
5,
that-
or is what? 4 guys, 1 girl.
Yeah, and then we started doing that, and then providing all the files to the community, and then I met Slayer, the owner of Fienbot. He was the one who developed that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's nice.
And we are now, the Fienbot is already at around 2,800 SOS servers, I think, with 108 users. We didn't expect that. We thought that it's just like, we're just here playing around and sharing it to the community, and we didn't expect that to go that far.
That's pretty impressive. I wouldn't have thought it was that big either. I mean, I knew it was big, but not that big.
Yep, it has more users than the actual numbers of members in Collab Discord server even. It's weird. And some people even thought that they know me as Teddy, but they don't know me as Savagery Gaming. They don't even know that I play Savagery Gaming. So they just know me as Teddy, and that's it.
Really?
I'm okay
Yeah, because I didn't know you as Savagery Gaming at first. I knew you from Sticky's Discord, and it was just Teddy. You were always just this cool chick that had some info that I would get. So that's cool, though. I'm glad that it's going well, and I do like that Fiendbot. Finn, we need to get a Fiendbot in our server. Can you make that happen for us?
Maybe.
We have now more members now that help us because the community went too big and we can't handle it. And then Request stopped playing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we added more people to the team, and somehow we are doing it. Well, we are updating everything once in a while, but it's still a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
I can't
But
imagine.
I'm proud of the people that is part of the Collab team.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them for spending their time because we are not paid. We don't get compensated for what we do.
Mm-mm.
We just do it for free. And I just wanted to thank all of those guys there.
Yeah, I appreciate them. I get a lot of good info from there. If you guys aren't familiar with the Collab Team, make sure, actually, I'll try to get someone to post a link to the Collab Team Discord in the chat because it's really good knowledge if you're not in there. So much info. So we'll get that posted in there. But so tonight we're going to talk about some heroes. And these are honestly just questions that I might have about some of the newer heroes because... what did he say? Jeremy said, I meant collab, no BIRB and RSG yet. I don't know what that means, Jeremy. What is BIRB? Does anybody know what that means?
The burb?
The burb? Oh.
The burb.
Does he mean burb? Who is burb? But so we're going to talk a little bit about heroes and go over some of the higher end level gameplay heroes because I, as you know, am a slacker in 125. Haven't gotten to the point where I've leveled up some of the bigger heroes, and I actually use Teddy quite a bit when I'll go in there and be like, okay, I don't really know how these work so well. So we're going to go over basics first and just then kind of go into some of the new heroes because Mako, do you even have the new heroes yet? Like the brand new ones? Do you have what do you have them leveled up to?
I've got Emma and Eli and Roxy both at 1-star level 50, both. And then I've got Tweak at like level 15, but I've got enough fragments for him to go to probably 1-star.
Yeah. How long did it take you to do that as a free-to-play though? Like you had to really like resource.
I've been saving up fragments for a while, my general fragments. So I had 374 legendary general fragments to use on the last Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah.
So I actually took 7th place because I used all of my fragments, all of my gear I've been holding up for it. So I ended up getting all of Roxy through the her voucher passes, and I mean Ray's place is the easiest place to get legendary fragments for whatever hero it is, and then I was lucky and got, I think, 50 fragments for Tweak in the last Survival of the Fittest. So
nice. Now somebody said something about new heroes. No, I'm talking about the newest, which would be what? Are they Gen 5, I think? Because there was
Gen 5.5 or something.
There's that weird break in between where they took the heroes out, and that has now just permanently screwed me up. Teddy, can you explain that? How they did with the break in between the heroes, and they have like 2 sets of Gen 4s, I guess?
So what happened there we have that Ernie, Jarrett, and Zach for Generation 4. Was it Generation 4?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and then they released Generation 5 that is now Tyler, Julie, and Brooke. But then they reverted and changed it into they stopped using Generation 4. And then they made a Generation 5, Generation 4, because I think the reason is those heroes that I forgot how they explained it, but they said that those heroes underperform. But for me, later on, if you figure out how these heroes work, you will say that these heroes, the ones that they stop using it, are actually useful because they can counter it. Generation 5 use them lightly.
They counter the new ones.
Yeah, so Generation 4, they just extended from state 1 to state 170.
Yeah.
And then states from 1 to 170 can switch between those heroes. Which is I don't see it as fair to the other states.
That's not.
Because the skills of Ernie, the skills of Zach are actually good. When you match it with other heroes, when you pair it with other heroes. But then newer states from 171 onwards can't use that because they just only release that Generation 4 instead of Generation 5 instead of Generation 4. So there is no Generation 4, which is Zach, Ernie, and then Jarrett from states 171 onwards. And you can't even use any of that.
And yeah, and the reason why that, like you said, that sucks for the newer states is because if there is some counter developed, like somebody like you or the collab team gets really good at countering with these older heroes that are now that they don't have access to, and we get matched up in some way with them, which there's been new and old state matchups already. That kind of sucks. I mean, have you figured out? You don't have to tell me, but have you figured out like a good matchup counter to the new heroes with the older ones?
We used to for the Capital Clash, but now I think they fixed it. So some of the skills of these heroes are being fixed, especially Maddie. Maddie before wasn't performing well. Like her skills doesn't really work. And then Request, I think, submitted that to the DivDam team because he made an article about that. And then the game team read it. And then we said that this specific skill is not working. And then they said, okay, we're going to look at it. And now everyone is using Maddie. A lot are using Maddie now because of that skill.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot to learn in the game. There's a lot of hero skills that needs to be fixed. There's a lot of, what do you call that? Some of the description of some heroes doesn't fit them.
Like which ones in particular? Which one do you think? Who do you think is the most broken that needs to be fixed?
Before it was Tweak.
Yeah.
And then we figured it out. That's the reason why I didn't level up my Tweak hero before.
I'm gonna change where my thing is so that I can pull up who you're talking about when you say it. Tweak. Do you think he's the most broken? Let me find Tweak. See, I don't even have Tweak unlocked. Look at that. That's how bad I am. I don't have any of these characters unlocked. Yeah, so...
that one.
Mm-hmm. So, real quick before we continue, guys, to anybody that's in chat and you have any questions, now is a good time to ask your questions because you have Teddy in here, you have Mako in here, and then Delete will be popping in soon. Finn and I are just kind of like basic noob answers. So, So if you have any questions, type your questions in and we'll do some Q&A. So my biggest thing that I really want to talk about as somebody that is, I started into 359, Finn's there. We have a lot of new players in there. Mako, you're in 125, so you're a free-to-play player. So the strategy that you guys use for events, and Teddy, I saw one of your videos that you said this, that you never use your frags. You never use your frags, and you especially don't use them in an event until like a couple weeks in, because the spenders are all using theirs at first. Is that how you do it?
Yes.
Can you explain that strategy a little bit?
So what I usually do is I play in different states. Like I have a lot of states. I'm from state 1, state 35, state 53, 77, 178, 240, 276. I think the latest is 607. So in every state, I can't speak this for all the states, but this is how I see it as a player. In every state, there are a lot of spenders, but it depends on how much they are going to spend. And for every feature that they release, those spenders always wanted to be the first to have them. Like every time, be it gears, be it heroes, and everything about that.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is I'll wait for like 2 to 3 or 4 weeks until all these spenders already spend, like they all max out all the new features. And that's when I save up. I save up all my speeds. I save up all my fragments and other things. And once after 4 or 5 weeks for that, that's when I am going to drop it for the SOTF or other events so that I can get better rank or level for that one. And I can get better rewards after.
Gotcha.
That's what I usually do.
See, I don't know that I have the patience to do that. I don't have the willpower to do that.
It takes a lot of patience.
I mean,
it's annoying.
It's just the red bubbles alone would kill me. And then just knowing I have that there, and for every event or every task that I try to do in the game, knowing that I could be a little bit stronger if I just use it, it's so hard for me. I'm also one of the mindsets of like, I might decide I want to quit tomorrow and then I didn't use something that I had in my bag the whole time. Like if it's in my pocket, I usually spend it. So it's really hard for me to hoard, but I know I need to. I know, Mako, you're a pro at hoarding. I was like, yeah, I am.
I wasn't that good before. I'm just like really, really bad, especially if I'm pissed off. It depends on what state I am playing.
Have you ever raged? Have you ever
going to like, yeah, I'm gonna go rage on you and I just drop all my items because I'm annoyed. But nowadays I'm getting better, especially in state 53. And I can't keep up. I can't compete with people there who will spend on the first week of spending. So I would just got to wait and wait for weeks, or sometimes because they don't use or they don't really utilize the classic events.
Yeah.
So that's where I drop my items. For like SOTF or skin events, what I usually do is I only use enough items for me to get the max rewards for that stage. And then once I get all the rewards for the max rewards for that state, I stop and save up the rest again for another event.
And when you say standard events, like regular events, which events do you mean? Do you mean like just like the regular weekly things that they have?
Yeah, so we have that classic events where you can just do infected cleanup that gives you, if you're to get 50,000 buy cups, yeah?
Yeah.
Not most spenders do that. They don't really utilize that event there.
Yeah, and they don't have to. They really do.
So what I do is I play on that part just to get the buy cups so that I can save up buy cups and use it, the buy cups, be it for my VIP or to do the race or spin it on the race place and get newer heroes.
Yeah.
That's what most people do, because I started as a free-to-play player in state 35. Like I never spent any there. My gears are still blue. For the rest, like over a year, I'm still F2P.
Wow. Yeah.
But I can't speak for my other state. I spend a little of that and a little of this in some states.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely hard. Finn, you're pretty good at hoarding too, though. I mean, you pretty good. You, as a free-to-play player, you've came top 100 in a couple of the events and stuff just by hoarding, right?
Yeah, I mean, It probably would have been better to hoard until I could get into the top 10 or something, but I kind of focused on getting kind of just more consistent growth, especially with where our alliance was. I didn't want to kind of hold back for a little while. So yeah, so I was saving up enough to get top 100 in survival of the fittest basically every time. But more recently I started just to hoard, and then obviously I had a little break with my move and everything. So now I have kind of increased my hoard amount a little bit. So I'm probably going to be hoarding for a little bit to try and push for survival of the fittest. Probably in a couple survival of the fittest, probably I'll have enough resources to kind of make a push for top 10. So.
Gotcha. So here is I kind of went around the whole way to get to my point, and Mom's calling, of course, again. Every time I stream, Mom calls in the middle of the stream, every single time. Trap, streams, any event with State of Survival, Mom calls.
You know what you should do? You should just answer it and just be like, Mom, have you had zombie coffee? Just...
Mom, what do you think are the best heroes? Yeah. She said, you are, baby.
You're having fun with your nerd zombie friends.
Yeah, right. Have fun in your nerd wars, honey. That's what she calls them, the nerd wars. So my thing is, I'm starting to learn, not starting to learn, I have learned that roles in an alliance are very important. And so my roles usually involve being a support role in an alliance, because I'm just not going to be a heavy spender. I'm not ever going to be a spender to where I have top gear in the whole alliance. So my role is to get plasma, get troops to send into rallies. My focus now is trying to decide about heroes, like how important the hero choices are when you are a support role. And then which ones I should actually save. So like this whole hoarding frags, okay, you hoard frags, but then do you wait until the new generation comes out if you're in a newer state? When do you not wait? When do you go ahead and use those and then just start reinvesting all over again into the new ones again? So I guess that's, I think, a lot of confusion, and I'm still confused, and I've been playing this for a long time, but when you jump into a new state, it's a whole new system again, it seems like, and you're trying to figure out what to do. Teddy, do you have any suggestions as far as like jumping into a new state, what you should first off the bat wait for as far as heroes go?
So what I did, it's because the new state is really hard to learn for me. I'm having a hard time. My first reservoir raid, I thought that I was still playing in my old states and I have a lot of troops. And I was HQ 26 and I was burned by an HQ 21 because I thought I got heroes on my base. And that was a shame. I was like stopping myself not to post that video, but I need to post that video for some reason, of course, for the Nations Cup. But I think if you are going to join a new state, I've been seeing a lot of players there, especially the new ones that are just like asking, can we invest on Ray and Rolex? I would say, please don't.
No. Well, I think that's funny that you say that, because I know my friend Echo that I've been streaming with occasionally here and there. I just made a video with him on his first Capital Clash. I have an account that I've been dabbling in with him just to make videos in. And I see tons of Ray and Rolex and tons of Lucky. Now, I know that some people, that's kind of an arguable thing. A lot of people do like Lucky. But I've just seen so many people buy and like max out Lucky and Ray and Rolex. And I'm trying to figure out why they do that. Is it just because it's the new shiny and they think it's the best when you don't know much about the game, or what?
But it's because when you're just starting a new account, you really need something that is strong for you to play other events. And now that they made it really faster for the Reservoir Raid, you need to counter some heroes. You need to have at least one set of good heroes to play in Reservoir Raid, at least in Nations Cup. But if you're not part of that, I'm just like starting on a new state and you're not in state 607 or 617, I think, or 618. Better not invest on Ray unless you wanted to play for Reservoir Nations Cup and you wanted to win. Then you can invest in that if you're spending. But if you're not spending, or if you're like a small spender, better not invest on that hero. because heroes come by like every 2 to 3 months, and those money that you spend for raise and even lucky will be useless once all the new heroes are out. I
Yeah.
mean, Lucky and Ray can still be good up to Generation 2, in my opinion. That's my opinion there. They are good until Generation 2, but once Generation 3 is out, they will be less of a need. But because I don't use them when Generation 3 came out, I stopped using Lucky and I stopped using Rolex. But in my other state, because my Lucky's was level 80, so I need to use her in between. But if they're like lower than that, might as well just keep your heroes at level 60 if you're not spending a lot, so that you can get the 5 skills, and that's all.
Yeah.
And save up your fragments and move to another generation after that.
Yeah. So like you said Ray and Lucky and all of them were good until Generation 2. When you say or Generation 3, and you mean when you say Generation 3, you're talking about Miho, Ash, and Zoe, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even know, to be honest. I don't even know about the states when they're coming out. I feel like they're probably going to come out very soon though, because they just had Trish in the. Jeez, Mom. They just had Trish. She's gonna kill me. They just had Trish in the casino. So I don't know the cadence of how long that they'll open up the next gen after that, but I feel like once they've released all of them and they've got one of the survival of the fittest out of the way with them, then they start releasing the events with the new gen, right?
The one way for you to check if how soon you will have your
yeah.
new generation is check your daily deals.
Yep, I remember you telling me that. I remember seeing you tell me that. So it refreshes in 22 days. So that means that the new heroes will be out in 22 days. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That one on top.
Yep. So is that for all gen? That's for every cadence. Anytime that there's a new, it'll do it for the new states too. I mean, for the, like, say, Gen 3 to Gen 4, it does the same thing, right? It's always up at the top of that.
It does, except for Generation 5. If you have Tweak, you have Roxy, and you have Eli, the next generation of heroes is a mystery. It's up for the devs if when are they going to release that.
Well, yeah. I think they're talking like it's soon though, right? I don't know. Who was it? What's that hero's name that they were talking about? Becca? No, not Becca. Who was it?
Becca?
No, the new one. Is it Becca? Is she the new one?
I'm not really sure if they're going to release her, but she's already there.
In the PTR, or is she in the newer, like the state?
She's like permanent eye candy. Becca's just permanent eye candy. That's all.
She might be the last hero of State of Survival. That's what I'm thinking. She might be like the top of the heroes, but she's not really good when it comes to skills. But she might be the last hero.
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I guess what with the hero thing then is. Do I wait 22 days and save up my frags, because I know that Ash, Zoe, and Miho are far superior than the Gen 2s. Do I save up any frags that I have, like those universal frags that I'm talking about? What do you call them, Teddy? Custom frags? You call them custom frags or general frags? Do you save those up for 22 days? Because I'm still building, and this is my theory in my head. I'm still building, and I'm not going to get to 30 for a little while. So I might as well just hoard all those frags, because there's not going to be a whole lot I can do with those heroes anyway, because I'm not really high enough at this point. My troop level's not high enough, so why not just hoard them until the next gen comes out, and then when I hit 30, boom, then start using my frags.
There is a funny story about it. What I did is because I was waiting for, I think, Survival of the Fittest last time. And I got like 1,000 frags saved up for that event. And then
1,000?
Yeah, I was able to save up after 1,000 general frags just to keep it. I'm that stingy.
How did you do that?
I don't know. I just patience. Patience is a
No,
virtue.
yeah, the patience of a saint. I would never be able
So
to do
I
that.
did that, and I was hoping to increase the rank of my Generation 4 heroes, which is Tyler, Brooke, and then Julie. And there 2 days after that, they released Generation 5 heroes. So I
Ah,
think I lucky me.
yeah. I think I'm probably just gonna in this state because I'm only really dabbling there with Echo. I probably will save for the next one. I in my 359, which is my basically my main now. I have been leveling up everything, but I feel like I need to start hoarding frags more. I need to be more like Finn and Mako, and I just don't know if I can.
I don't I don't think necessarily hoarding frags is the right move though. It
Why?
depends.
Yeah, it depends
So
on your gameplay. It
yeah,
depends.
so if you're not a spender, right? At what
Mhm.
point do you decide to pull the trigger then on friending this frag? Because every time another generation is going to come out, and you're going to have the same kind of discussion with yourself: do I wait another 30 days for the next generation because the next
Mhm.
generation is going to be better? So what you actually so the the heroes always become more viable when you can get to that general rank, right? Or not the
Yeah.
the general
Yeah.
rank. You don't have to go beyond that, but when you can get to that general and then you have to spend like 70 frags in order to start upgrading it, that's where it becomes too much, right?
Yeah.
So you have to figure out when to get a hero that is useful to the general rank. And as I've been kind of like looking at the heroes, this is just from what I've seen. The heroes that I think have worked out best are the ones with the siege and the rally parts of their hero. And the nice thing is that they're all kind of spaced out because you can get a Gen 2 in Jeb, you can get a Gen
Yeah.
3 in Miho, and you can get a Gen 4 in Brook. And all of them are for different ones, right? So Jeb is your shooty, then Miho is your stabby, and Brook is your punchy hero. But the thing about that also is that you can work on Jeb double while Gen 3 is out because the easiest hero to get to general, and I put easiest kind of in quotes, is Maddie. And Maddie's is a stabby hero. So you can wait on pushing Miho. So you can start off with Jeb. You get like 2 cycles of those cards that you can work on Jeb and start to push him. You don't have to spend your general frags, right? But I wouldn't push general frags on him, and especially with where you are in that one. Then I would just get Miho like unlocked, but I would still pretty much use Jeb in order to get more cards for him, and he'll be cheaper when Gen 3 comes out, and then when Brook comes out, that's where I would spend if I were you, because Brook is one of the best infantry heroes, especially early on. And so if you have those 3, I think you're good. The problem with the free-to-play is that if you're always going to be chasing the next set of heroes, you're going to keep on falling behind.
Yeah.
And especially in the newer states, because it's really easy to get a hero to level 80 because of the hero training area, there's no difference with level anymore. Everything is level 80. So your rank is going to be what separates you from the other heroes. So that's why I would go definitely with those 3. And Miho would be the last of the 3 because you can get Maddie to a general rank earlier. But so for you, with where you are, I would try to focus on Maddie and Jeb with where you are. Start to save up general frags. And I would actually save the general frags for Brook and push Brook more than any of the other ones, and then go back to finish off Jeb, who's going to be cheaper. You'll have Maddie hopefully with more frags at that time, assuming you're doing your plague zones and all of that to get her free frags. And then you can go back for Miho, or you can even skip Miho if one of the newer generation heroes have a stabby that gives you the siege and the rally. So that's the way I've kind of looked at it. So I'm kind of working on Brook more now, still pushing Maddie, and then I'm going to go back and try to finish off Jeb unless one of the new heroes come out, because my building has been a little bit off because I've been still trying to like figure out all these things. But that would be my strategy if I had a chance to do it again. But that's for a free to play, because you're not going to be able to keep up with all the heroes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to get a whole bunch of like very low ranked heroes. You're not going to get the stats for it. And at that point, you really are just a pure joiner with your troops, and that's it. So if you want to contribute, getting a higher rank, I think, is going to be more important.
Mako, did you do that tactic? Did you skip like a gen before you went to this last generation? Or what did you do? Did you do all of them?
I always unlock every hero, and then I choose who I want to spend them on.
Yeah.
My focus was, instead of siege and rally like Finn, I did the patrol for defense, and I put my wall.
Mm-hmm.
So like I did like I have Zoe's on there, Ernie, and I don't know who my other one is.
I need to set my patrol on this stage.
I've got them up there because I wanted them for defense, but I've got every hero unlocked except for Ray and Rolex, and then I have all of the older heroes before they level up their skills as you give raise their rank. If you get them to 1 star, you can get all their skills at 5. The new heroes don't get all 5 or all 3 skills to level 5 until you're 2 star with them, so it's a little bit more expensive, but you don't need the skill books for them. I don't know if you guys need skill books at all in 359. Yeah. You do? Okay.
Yeah, I think the newer heroes may not need them, but the older ones you still need.
You still need them.
Yeah, so I saved up all my general frags because I focused only on like select heroes. I think I've got Jeb, Lucky, Trish, Wolf, and looks like Jarrett, his new one. I have them only at like captain rank, so they're not leveled up at all. They're all maxed at level 20, but everybody else is at least to that where they've got level 5 skills, so I can join with the better skilled people. So, because we were always told to be as a joiner, which is what I've been since day 1, basically, is that you want a certain hero with certain skills, so you want that skill level 5. So I focused that hero. Then it changed to, okay, we need this hero, so I focused on that hero, got him to the skill to level 5, and it just kind of progresses that way. And I, like Finn said, you just kind of go, when do you pull that trigger on fragments? I had 360 fragments, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, this new generation of heroes, I'm going to get them, and boom, they're gone. Now I'm going back with the voucher passes, and I'm working on, I just finished up Miho and got her to 1 star and got her level 5 skills. And now I'm going to go back and work on somebody else who's like 6 vouchers instead. So it's just more cost effective that way, I guess, for me. Personally.
Well, yeah, and the fact that the thing that you said is like that hits me is the whole, when do you go ahead and bite the bullet and use them? Because what's the point of being a free-to-play that is planned out like everything, and you're just planning and saving for the big one, but you're not enjoying the game any, you know? Like, you still want to enjoy the game some along the way as a free-to-play. You can't be... There's a such thing as being too planned out and hoarding too much that you're not really enjoying it, so...
My biggest eye-opener was the last Survival of the Fittest that I actually tried hard. I saved for, like, 2 months of hero gear. I finally got some chief gear to upgrade, badges. I had that 300 and some general fragments. I had about 87 days worth of speed ups between research, construction, and troop training. And I was saving. I was like, okay, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to get this new hero when he comes out, like the second Survival of the Fittest after everybody's spent on it. Mm-hmm. They dropped Tweak in Survival of the Fittest, and I waited till the next one. And then I was like, okay, here I go. I'm going to plop everything. And first day of Survival of the Fittest, they opened up the Plasma Institute. So I was like, okay, I saved up everything. I'm already ranked like 12 on like day 4 of Survival of the Fittest, and you just opened up the Plasma Institute, and I was watching my score. I was like 5, 5th place, 7th place, 10th place, and then all of a sudden you get to use your Plasma cores, and the Institute opened up, and I was like 27th place, and I was like, yep, all the spenders just bought everything they need. So.
Yep.
But luckily I had all those general frags that bumped me up to 7th place at least for the total. But it kind of sucks. You hoard and try and do your best, and then you got to find something you want to spend everything you're hoarding on.
I'll also say too, I actually consider what you did too, Mako, with going with the patrol, and I think this is where you are in your alliance makes a difference as well. Because the reason I ended up going more with kind of the offensive thing is because I was still, for the longest time, probably in our top 5 to 10% of our headquarters in the alliance. And so even though I'm not necessarily our strongest, I mean, we have like Apex and Maz, there's a chance that I'm going to be needed to run a rally, even if it's something for like trap, right? And then I can just get more damage in there. And if I'm doing attacks on any bases, I can help with that. Because if Maz and Apex weren't on, then I was maybe the one actually leading a rally on a tower or a capital or something for points or something like that. And you do need damage in order to be able to get more points scored for that, because the more you do damage. So that's the reason why I ended up going a little bit more offensive. I think Mako's works out really well if you're in an alliance with several like higher like starred headquarters, and you're not necessarily the one always relied on for rallies, or you're not maybe even like the backup one. Like if you're in around like the 50% mark or so, right? You don't necessarily have to worry about being more offensive. So then you can definitely go more defensive and focus on your patrol. And that's also why I like Maddie too, because Maddie is a patrol and she's a rally. She doesn't have the siege, but when you work on her with everything else, you kind of get that component to help you with the rest of your heroes. So that's why, like, it all depends. We've said this so many times. It depends on your alliance. It depends on your spending habits. Like, everyone's path to success in this game is going to vary greatly based on how they play it. And so it's hard to give kind of a general advice. It all depends on how you play it. And then, like, I think all of us here are experienced enough where we could try and guide you based on how you play. It's very hard to kind of generalize it to say always go in this direction or another direction. So that's why we try to provide you all the different kind of views here. So it helps you kind of analyze how you're doing. And then, of course, we can help you if you ask questions.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I wish they would do as I'm looking at this? I wish they would give us a way that you could, like, as you're looking at your heroes, like, select your patrol heroes, select your siege, like, just to kind of look at them and compare easily instead of, like, having to troll, you know, like, I don't know all these heroes off the top of my head, which ones are which yet. I mean, I'm pretty decent as far as knowing which ones are which, but, like, to say, okay, was Eva... or like some of the newer ones, was this one a patrol or was it a siege one? You know, like the ones I'm not familiar with. It would be cool for new players to be able to just like select patrol, like a section over here in it, to have all of the patrol heroes so they could really kind of compare the stats side by side. Or you could just go to Teddy's site. Teddy, what is it? Collab? You guys have like those infographics.
We have two websites and then a bot. So our website is Ultimate Guide, and then my personal website is the same as my YouTube channel. It's savagegaming.com. Mm-hmm. And then we have Genbot, where you can just type all the commands and you can see all the different type of heroes, or what are the type of, if they are patrol, siege, rally, or everything, and then you can compare it by generation per generation. We tried to build it just like that so that the new players will have an idea on which heroes to build or which heroes to focus on. And like what Finn said, it all boils down to on how you play your game. So we are all players, but we play differently, each one of us. It depends on is your role as well in your alliance. If you are like a ringer during the event, if you're a rally leader, if you are a support, and if you're just a rally joiner. So your gameplay changes, and it depends on what role you have in your alliance every time. So most of the time, I'm just a rally joiner because I have a lot of places to go and I don't have a lot to spend. I can't spend that many just to get max every time. And I don't have any max account even yet. So what I do is for every alliance or every state that I have, and I'm always a rally joiner, just like Mako, I just focus on my defense for me to be enough not to get burned in one solo march, or even just maybe even rallies. Or rallies, you're always going to get burned if you don't have enough troops. But I always focus on my patrol. And then one thing or one rule that I always follow is I always make sure that the heroes that I send to a rally are always at 555 scales. When you say 555, it's like the maximum scales of each hero. So I make sure that I don't really need to make my heroes to general every time. Like all my heroes, they don't need to be general in rank. All I just do as a player is I always just make sure that my heroes can reach to level 60, so that on level 60 you can have all their skills unlocked to level 5. And that's it. And then once I have them, I just go to another one again.
Yeah. So to reiterate, you just said the 60. That's where you unlock all your skills. So that's really what you need to focus on, at least for your rally joining heroes. Get all
There's
your
a rank
skills
too,
unlocked.
though.
Yeah.
Don't forget,
and
there
a
is a
rank.
rank to unlock all your skills.
I think
that's-
it's major. For the old heroes, it's major, I think. I forgot.
Yeah, it's something
For
early.
the old heroes, it's major, which is the 1-star, and
Yeah.
it's that maxes out at level 50 because I've got Zoe, Miho, and Ash, or Zoe, Miho, and Zach at 50. So, and then for the new heroes that you level up the skills with their fragments, that has to be the 2-star, which is like Lieutenant Colonel or something,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
that one maxes at level 60.
Got it.
And for the newer states, the leveling is easy, right? Because of the hero training area. So we have a little advantage in the newer states with that.
Oh, Delete's in the chat. Hi, Delete. I don't know if you're going to join. I don't know if you can get in, but tell your mom happy birthday. If you can pop in, do it on your phone, that's fine. Or if you just want to stay in chat, we love you, man. Oh, and also congrats to Mako, who just had a baby. He's got a little baby
Thank you.
newborn.
Yeah. 3 weeks yesterday.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations. We're so happy for you. I know you needed some adult time.
Yes.
It's hard. Tell me about it. So what Finn was saying was the Hero Academy for the old states versus the new states. We've talked about this several times. I don't know. Does it really give that much of an advantage? What do you guys think? I mean,
yeah, you don't have to level up your heroes.
But is there an offside to that somewhere that we're not like aware of?
No, there is no downside to the Hero Academy.
Ooh, I just got a houseboy here just refilled my zombie coffee. Thank you.
No, there is no downside to the Hero Academy. Like, honestly, there's nothing that, and older states have said it too. It's a disadvantage for older states facing newer states, if they're kind of like close like that, because the hero training allows all of their heroes to be their max level, right? Whatever is the lowest of your top 3. But the thing is, it's fairly easy to get all of them to max level. You can get all of them to level 80. Because all you need is 3 heroes at level 80. Then every hero you put in there is level 80. And so it's there's no downside.
Well, no, what I'm saying is there another advantage that the older states have as far as this type of strength that the new states don't?
No, they literally added an awesome feature to newer states, and older states don't have it, and there's no drawback.
Teddy, do you agree with that?
Wait, am I hopping in already?
Oh, hi, Delete.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome home,
up, man?
buddy.
What's up, Mako? Congrats, man.
Thank you.
How's the flight? How was the flight? All good? You're safe landed?
Yeah, it was a little bit scary because the pilot was like, "Yeah, so sorry we're delayed because we had like the check engine light come on."
I know. I hate when they give you that much extra information.
You don't need that info.
No,
Never
I don't need that
It's
info.
like, okay. I would have rather just been like, yeah, all right, so we're gonna take off now. Buckle up and enjoy the ride, everybody. Instead of like, yeah, so we almost ran out of gas on our last flight, and all these people were coughing, and we had one guy die, but get ready to fly out, everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Too much info sometimes.
yeah, unnecessary.
Mhm.
Unnecessary.
Well, we're glad you made it safe. We're glad to have you. Delete, you see, I got Teddy from Savagery Gaming on. Super excited.
Wow, what's going on, Teddy? Welcome to the stream.
Thanks and hello.
So Teddy, I don't know if you heard earlier, we were talking about like, is there any offset for the older states having some strength over the newer states with this whole training academy? Do you think it's just severely mismatched?
It's not really severe, but when it comes to like showdown, you need that much,
Yeah.
as much as you can. So putting your heroes there and not having it in the old states, and not all people in the old state spends.
Yeah.
There are F2 pieces well in the old state, but they don't have that. And that hero academy or hero training area helps boost the match capacity of each hero as well. So having that is a good help when it comes to showdown, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What do you we have been arguing, and Teddy, I don't know if you've ever heard, but we honestly fight all the time about how it's so not fair when we have the matchups between the older and the newer states, and just the difference in the game in general and how they're going to fix that. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because we've exhausted it, but I always like to hear new opinions about it, because we're frustrated with it. Oh, by the way, there's a code up. I forgot about the code. Choco Nikki is the first code, guys.
I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna go ahead and give the second code too. Choco Nikki's the first code, number 1, and then the second code is, when do I get a code? Did somebody on the last stream say something about when do I get a code?
Somebody says that every single time.
When do I get my name as code?
Yeah, pretty much that's what they say. Yeah.
I bet I can guess who's gonna have the next code name.
Hmm.
I
do have a.
I don't know what to say about that different. I'm feeling like every time I go to the new state, I'm playing a new game with the same theme.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think raging is enough for the devs to listen. It's more of, I think they didn't anticipate how fast their growth will be.
Mm-hmm.
So started like, okay, we're just going to start with this, and then if this is it's like, for me, like, this is my opinion and how I see them or how I see them grow. It seems to me that they started building this, and then we're just going to figure it out. Oh, it seems like we need to add another one just to check if this is going to work out to the game, and then add it to other states and leave the other states behind. And for me, it's unfair. I think that's the right term for that, being unfair to the old states. And at the same time, it's not even fair for the new states as well, because, for example, like the Alliance store, I can just donate on my old state, and I can buy any advanced replicator every time, and I can stack that up.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started playing to the new state, I won't be able to save up advanced replicator unless I'm going to watch my market stall every day.
And they're expensive on the new states.
Yeah. And you need to spend like 4,000 buy cups every time. So it's not really that good, especially if you're into playing Reservoir Raid, state versus state. And it's not, and that's one of the downside, I think, that I'm seeing in the new state. You need to spend buy cups, you need to spend money just to get those if you want to be competitive. Whereas in the new state, all you gotta do is just be active every day. Watch your market stall, watch your Alliance store or advanced replicator, and you have that. Whereas in the new state, oh, well, I don't know. And it's more expensive. Like, you can put advanced replicator or other things, or if you wanted to change your setup when it comes to your talent, you can change that unless you need to spend buy cups for it.
Yeah.
And maybe one day they are going to figure out that all the things that they are doing are not, equal.
Well, it's hard to convince them that they're not good when they are making so much money. I mean, it is honestly, an Echo where I were talking about it. It's one of the top mobile games right now. They're making tons of money. So it's really hard to tell them this isn't working. And they're like, but it is, because people are buying, people are spending on it. So it kind of is working. It's just not long term working. They're getting new players in, but then I guess at the same time we're here after what, a year?
Yeah,
Still
just past the
playing.
year mark.
So who's wrong here? You know, like it's really frustrating, but I don't know. Somebody else said something about Zoltan said code Zoltan. We've already had
Zoltan
a
as
code, Zoltan, you little stingy thing. Still my favorite.
Zoltan too.
Somebody said something about, are they going to merge the old and the new states, that game together? And, you know, that would be ideal, but we've already said we don't know how they would do that with, like, Teddy.
There's a way with the hero. The hero precinct isn't the only problem, just to be fair.
Yeah,
the
no,
merging of
there's
the two states. The towers is a bigger issue, and how you would deal with all the tech, the alliance tech moving into it. But there's an easy solution to getting the older states, and weirdly enough, it actually gets more money for King's
Well, let's hear your option and see, and Teddy can critique it and play devil's advocate to it, because I want to hear that.
Sure. So
I love
watching
people playing
people.
devil's advocate. I do. I love playing devil's advocate. I love everybody.
So right now, you need 3 heroes that you level up, right, for the hero training area. And then you have a total of 15 heroes that you can put in the hero training area. So in total, let's assume that your top 3 are all maxed out. That means you have 18 heroes at max level, right? That is enough to fill 6 rallies. So the easiest way for them to allow for older states in order to get this new system is to make it so, 1, there is now a 7th rally for everyone, which we've already seen kind of with Trap. But if there's a way to get a 7th rally instead of a 6th rally, you now need 21 heroes. The hero training area does not fit enough for 21 heroes, which means you have to now level up beyond just the top 3. You have to level up another set of 3 heroes outside of the hero training area. So you don't expand the hero training area. You give the older states the ability to reset their hero levels, right? Which means that now they don't lose all the XP books that they bought. They now distribute them to the 3 heroes. They keep 15 in there. They work on 3 other ones. And they can release more heroes to make it so you have a set of like 21 different legendary heroes that are worth it for spenders to have for those 7 rallies. So they're not working on their purples or their blues. They're working solely on their legendaries, which means they need like 7 gens of heroes. So by releasing more heroes, by adding more rally, and you can give older states the hero training area with the reset, and nothing is going to waste. That would be the way that they introduce it. Because I think this is going to be a problem for the newer states. I think newer states, the hero training area is awesome. I think they might end up being reliant on it. So whenever they need more than what is available in the hero training area, a lot of them are going to have
frivolously
spent all their hero training books.
You're right about that, probably.
So,
but they can
reset it, but there is a timer on that, so you have to make sure you're still kind of planning on that, because the timer goes up to a week. Like my Travis is always on a week cooldown. I reset him every week because he's the one that I always leave in there, because I want him he's on every rally, right? So I want him to be able to gain XP. Then I reset him, but he has a week timer for his reset. So depending how you manage it, I think that's the way that you allow for the older states to actually get it, and no drawback at that point. Then nothing is wasted. You have more money coming in for the new heroes, right? You can add the 7th rally to, I don't know, VIP 15 or something like that, so people will spend in order to get higher, whatever it is. So it works in both ways. So that would be my suggestion.
So it fixes the hero training aspect of merging the two. What is the other big issue about merging the two?
It's alliance tech and like the towers and how you build and expand in a territory. But we've already discussed that. Even if it was 2 newer states that were merging, you're going to have the same problem, which is that each one has established an area in their own state. How do you merge that into a new state? And honestly, the only reasonable way is to be like, okay, we're merging these 2 states. We're merging, let's just say 359 and 360. So we're going to create 369.5 or something like that. And both of you are going to be eligible to get into the state right at 6 a.m. or I should say 5 a.m. Eastern time, so 2 a.m. Pacific time, which is the same time as Capital Clash, right? And everyone goes in there, they keep their tech, they get refunded all their towers. If they're from an older state, then they can get the number of towers equal to the newer state, and they just start building and expanding, just like we did at the start of the game. But except now you have all your towers, you have all your research, so everything goes faster, and everyone is just a free for all. Everyone just goes and builds wherever the hell they want. They build their first alliance headquarters in the wastelands. You can leave the plains open if you want. You can wait to open the oasis and do all the state events again and have everyone go through that however you want. But you basically start over without resetting the tech and giving everyone back their towers. So that solves the issues of like the differences in the towers if everyone goes with the new state, right? How you expand it, everyone starts over fresh on the new state, and it's just, you know, the time when it opens, you get people on to start building, and that's it.
I feel like there was some other problem that we talked about that was another issue for them. Not just the training academy and the maps.
I mean, the biggest problem is figuring out how you figure out which states are going to go with which states. How do you make it so it's not overpowered? How do you get the lower one? That's all. That's the biggest problem with the actual.
That would be
merger.
the easiest, though. You match up age and strength, like, right?
But how do you determine strength? Because you have to determine activity, right? You have to figure out whether or not you're just going to overpower it at the top, or are you going to try to get like a distribution of alliances all the way through. Then at what point do the mid-levels want to stay, or do they prefer to stay in the old one? Do they have no choice in the matter? Like that actually becomes the most complicated, because that becomes, unfortunately, where emotions take hold, right? Everything else is more technical and functional. Those are easier. You know exactly what the end goal should be, and you can build towards that. When you start having people bring in their emotions and their feelings, those can't be quantified. They become harder to address. So how people feel about moving from one state to another, how people feel about staying in their state, if it possibly means divisions of alliances where some people go, some people do not, like that's where the problem goes. And of course, is it a payment thing that you have to pay to switch? Is it automatic for everyone for a little bit of time? Like those are honestly the biggest complication of the merger.
I would think that you couldn't make it an option. I would think that it would have to be either a no merge or a merge. Like it would just leave too many variables about like the strength wise of who's left in what state, and then you know what I'm saying. It would cause too many complications that way.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you think about?
They could do it forced.
They could do what?
They could do a forced merge between like two states that they've just determined are not very active.
I mean, that's what I would think. But I mean, at the same time, then will they have refund problems because somebody says this wasn't what I paid for, forcing me to do something with my game that I've invested a lot of money in when I paid for this, you know, this type of game. I don't know. What do you think, Teddy?
I think basing on how are they going to do state mergers. For example, for some games that I've played, what they do is they usually merge states that are close to each other when it comes to age, so that it has the same growth. All the players have the same growth. And what they do is, for example, they merge state 1 to state 5, so 5 states in one merge. But for SOS, I'm not really sure. I don't really know how are they going to do that. And without the devs telling the players on what are the plans that they are trying to do, or showing the players on what are their plans, what are their upcoming options, and how this merge is going to happen, I can't really comment on that one. I'm just like my take on that is I'm just going to just sit here, watch it, and then once it all goes down, then that's the time that I'll have something to say.
Yeah.
But before that, nope. Much close.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I think we talk about it almost every stream now, because it's just so frustrating, because like, you know, I don't play 125 anymore. Because it's just, you know, what it is. It's kind of, who's there and who's playing and stuff like that. But I know that there's states, old states like 42 that, Fury says that she just, it's just, they log in daily. They log in daily to get their stuff, and then they can log off, and it's no more fun anymore. And it's just a constant struggle for everybody in the older states. So, and everybody's moving on to these new states, even me. And it's just like I feel bad for everybody left behind that's not in the new states because it's kind of exciting. Although it is a hassle.
The only thing that makes the old states happy now is the alliance events trap. Sometimes some people even skip traps. Maybe rest of a raid, and that's it.
Yeah.
More. It's just like repetitive to me. Like every time I do a video of a new event that you're doing, I always say that I think I'm getting tired of repetitive events. I don't really spend a lot, but as a player, just like if you have that every month, it's the same. They just change the features, they just change the image, and it's the same rule. And it's been going for like over a year, and no new features coming in. It gets really boring.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's what Leo just said. He said it's going to be what's happening to all the states in 6 months. If they don't continue to add new things into the game and new features into the game, it's just going to be that way for everybody. Because it is the same stuff. Like you said, it's the same game, just reskinned.
Yeah, it's very rinse and repeat. It's and they need to do something to change the timeline of when a state begins to die. Which for a lot of people is probably around this 7 month mark. Where you start to see a drop off, where it's like the spenders have grown too big, and left everybody else behind because it's, and I've said it before, it was like the race to 30 when everyone was still like, there was no plasma. That was probably when the game was the most fun, because it wasn't, your alliance tech and your research were still at a manageable level, and you can kind of still, compete, and everyone could get there and things like that. And it was like, wow, okay. I felt like everyone's got a shot. You've got 10 active alliances kind of going after it. And then past that, when plasma comes out, you see the drop off of how many people don't go to plasma, and how many people kind of just completely drop down. It just you start to see the decay of the game happen really quickly. And the fact that it's very rinse and repeat, really makes the game depend on the internal struggles that you have in your state to stay alive. It's the internal stuff. It's the, we're getting attacked, or, we've got a shield, or, it's whatever to kind of keep the game going. And that's a lot. That's a lot to depend on, your player
state
base.
Politics to keep the game active or not. It should be the game itself.
Right. Which tends to burn people out too. I mean, that will crush the game, because it's, next thing you know, it's like breaking up alliances, because then it's like your alliance thought that they were going to be a fighting alliance, and now it's like, some people really don't want to fight anymore because fighting costs money. If you're attacking people, you will lose troops, more troops, and it will take you. I mean, I've seen reports where it's like, wow, you just lost 60,000 troops. Raising 60,000 troops is a lot. That is a lot. And it's just,
especially if it's T11.
Oh, yeah. T11s.
Take you forever, So one big misstep, and you're like, is it worth going down that rabbit hole again? Like you could just attack the wrong base. It's got a jammer on that doesn't look like it's being reinforced, and you think you're stronger than you are, and then that's it. And people are just like, so the game's got to be careful, and it's got to be very cognizant of the fact that, that stuff happens.
So,
and this is how the gameplay is.
Do you think they're holding off with new content? And this is just me kind of theory, like one of my theories. Do you think they're holding off putting new stuff out because the game is so hot right now and people are spending so much money? They're waiting for a lull in, like, waiting for something to slow that down, like for when that kind of plateaus, and then they bring in new content to boost it back up? Do you think that's what they're doing, or is it just they don't have new content to make right now? They have no plans of it. They're just kind of, this is where they're at. I don't know. I kind of feel like,
well, they teased us with that international Kamute event freaking a month ago now.
Yeah.
And I logged in yesterday to do my dailies, and I had a survey. How do you like this new event? And I was like, it's not even on the calendar yet. Why am I getting
PTR?
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
The what event are you
So in the
talking about?
PTR, there was like a new, like event, like a Kamite Town
A new.
in the PTR. Yeah. So they were testing it, and my base in the PTR is still all messed up. So I'm like, and life's just been busy. So I didn't play in it that much.
That's why I didn't log into the PTR. I didn't even do the PTR. I was like, meh.
But some people were, some people were really happy with it. Some people were like, okay, it's kind of more like Kamite Town, which is kind of more of the same. But they should bring it back, because it was, when they did it, it was cool. And it
Something
probably got
different.
more positive than negative reviews, so yeah. And I
I
definitely do
enjoyed it.
think that there's like, the game was built on the events that they have, right? And everyone really liked that. But then it's the fact that you continually have to do them over and over and over again, to where it's like, ugh.
Well, you know what bothers me, and I wanted to ask Teddy later about the Kamute Town. She actually does the PTRs, so she probably has some more info about that. But what bothers me is the events that they've done. Like this, how long has this game been out? We're still seeing the same skins and the same events come back around again, and I'm like, I don't know. To me, that just seems like, why don't they do something new for, each holiday? Do a new skin instead of, like, I just see this stupid carnival skin coming back up now, and I hate that thing. I hate it so bad. Like, do something different with it. I don't understand why they're not doing that. If you're not going to bring new events into it, at least make it look different. I don't know. Teddy, did you get to play the PTR with the new? I called it Commute Town, but
Yeah, I did, but I was bored because I already experienced some of what they presented in PTR on the live server, though.
yeah.
Especially the survival of the fittest 8 states versus against the 8 states.
Yeah.
I've already had that in state 504, 540, I think. They already did it there. Like 2, 3 ago, I already made a video of that. And I don't know why they're adding it. I think the reason why they added that, because of that Migo Center. And that Migo Center doesn't even boost your stats in general. It only boosts your stats when you do that exploration thing. It's like Aura the Explorer thing.
Yeah, when you do Explorer missions.
Yeah, you have that building there. And I was thinking that building is going to add or boost stats like the plasma building or the plasma research. But then when I went to that, when I dig into that, I figured out that it's only in connection to the events that they are releasing. So maybe that's what they're calling it, the world event, because it's between 7 states. Like the shadow something exploration is like the same with Kamote, but what they did is they did some levels like underground exploration going down and down and down, but it's the same. And then, like I said, that survival of the fittest against 8 states is already released in the live server like 2-3 months ago, because I already covered it out. And what's the point of that center, though, if it only covers the stats for the exploration? Nothing more. Nothing that benefits.
I mean, like, who really is going to want that? Who's going to really want that in level? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. At this point, they've got to release. They got to release what's in the commercial. The commercial for SOS. I was like, wow, I play that game.
Or let's get a market trading center. Let's do something with the market trading. Damn, come on. I just still don't understand why they have stuff in the game, in the old game and the old version and the new, that still is not functioning. Like, why even have it there? It's still there. Let me see.
Yeah.
What I just really wanted, if I'm going to be asked what I really wanted for the game, I just wanted them to have that trade stall going to work.
Yeah,
That's all.
this. I've got it pulled up right here. That's
Sorry.
what I'm talking about. Like, I don't understand. This is the most frustrating thing to me. Why is this in the game if it was never intended to be used? Why put it in there? Like,
Yeah, and you can also level that up. What's that for?
yeah. What does that mean? You know what I think happened with this is they took a copy of a certain game that we all know that has this option in it, and they brought, I don't know if the coding, if they brought this code in and they just never took it out, or maybe they intended to put it in there, but I mean, come on, this is in the old states and the new states. I mean, like, this is ridiculous. This would be the only thing that I think would be a problem with this is where you would start making banks. You would start making bank settlements, and that would put a whole nother spin onto some state play. Because, in Game of War, we used to have big, massive banks. We'd take a settlement and make it like an alt account and make it a res bank for the Alliance to use. So that would be interesting. But I don't know that they're ever going to bring this. I haven't heard anything said about it. I know that Teddy and I are in some servers together where we can put forth questions, and then that question was asked several times, and they've never, ever addressed it. So it's frustrating.
That server frustrates me in all levels.
All levels. All levels. All levels, Teddy. I know what you're talking about.
All players always see me as a chill person, but they don't really know how much I do in that server. And you know that.
Oh, I know. They don't see the tagging. Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? Teddy's constantly tagging. Like, what's going on with this? Why can't I do this? Yeah, it's really funny.
And it's
awesome.
Frustrating because a lot of all the questions that you're going to ask, you're not getting any answer in it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to seem like we're harping all the time on the negatives, but and we do appreciate the 4 answers that we get every once in a while, but it's not to the, if you've noticed, it's never to the really important questions, or I don't know, the way they word the questions is not very direct so that they give a direct answer on some of them. So that's kind of frustrating. And it's always like maybe one important question with some fluff questions in there, not really the ones that we want to know about. So I get frustrated with that. Somebody had asked a question here. Let me look for the question. I can't even find it. Oh,
the only thing with the trading post that I'll just comment on, that's maybe where the difficulty lies, is it can be exploited very easily if somebody has 2 accounts and they find a way to trade between their accounts. That might be why they're hesitant to do anything, because you could easily super boost one account by working on a second one at the exact same time.
It's your right to do that. You're taking the time and the money investment into that second account. So why is that an exploitation?
You may not be putting in the money. That's what it is, right? You might just be putting in time. You could have 2 free-to-play accounts and boost one free-to-play with the other one and do it. It can throw off the dynamic and makes the money that people are spending on a single account worth less. Because a free-to-play is
that's not an exploitation, though. That is just a game mechanic.
But that's a strategy, though.
Yes, exactly. It's a strategy for a free-to-play versus a... Well, then they could say the same thing about Mako hoarding frags versus me spending on frags.
No, so because you're not gaining. If you spend on frags, you're going to gain more frags over time if you spend correctly. Mako's hoarding because he's getting less and he's trying to spend to try and get a better reward. During that time, he's getting nothing. So he's not gaining any advantage over you if you are spending on frags, guaranteed. You will be farther ahead than Mako, 100%.
But the person will still have to farm the res on their other account to transfer it to the other. So as
players, we will view it as a strategy, right? As players, we will view it as a strategy. We will view it as a way. It's the same reason why people make farms in order to get res right now, right? They attack their own farms in order to get res. We view it as a strategy. They will view it as a way of devaluing their resources in the game, because now 2 accounts can generate more than a single account, depending on what you allow in the market stall. Because the market stall has a lot of different things that are available in there, right? So are you only going to allow for trading of resources? Because if you allow for trading of resources, they probably don't care. But the market stall has a bunch of other stuff. So if you start allowing for more of that, that's where potentially problems can happen. And I'm just saying this because I know at least like I'm going to go into a different game like World of Warcraft, right? Had an auction house, and their auction house was one of my like favorite things in the entire game. I could spend all day going into the auction house, playing it, sniping, changing prices, changing the market on different items. Like I would buy out items and just raise the price and see what people would buy, and I would just make profits off of it. But I was on that game a ridiculous amount of time, but you change the economy of the game. And so if they're setting if they want to be able to set the economy, you have to be very careful about allowing for trade between accounts because it will change the economy if players have more say. So that may be why, I'm not saying that is the reason, but that may be why they're being a little more cautious on bringing out the trading post.
Well, I could see, now I understand, I still don't think it's an exploit if it's a valid strategy as a free-to-play versus a spender, you know, how to maximize your gameplay if you're putting in the time. But at the same time, I do see what you're saying about items. Like, you shouldn't be able to trade. I could see them not wanting to trade items, but res, that's a basic way to fix this to where people aren't super upset, but make it only res that you can trade. I wouldn't be upset because it's more than what we have now. If that's all you want to do is do the res trade, I'm fine with that. But, like, make at least work for something. And I think that would be good, too, as far as res trading. Just, you know, like, being able to help your ally mates out when they get zeroed by some jerk.
Yeah.
You know, you can actually, everybody in the alliance can send them, you know, a mil res or whatever your request load is or whatever you can do. That would be a huge deal. And also an organization for an alliance to be able to say, okay, this week we're boosting so-and-so to get to 30. Like, as far as building up some of our free-to-play players that maybe are struggling with some things, at least that's one thing they don't have to worry about. You know, like you could start boosting some of them up. I don't know.
But when you check the trading post, though, it shows there the load capacity. So I'm assuming that trading post is only for resources. At least, you know, make it work just for the resources and go on overtime for that. If you wanted to add more items on it, why not? But just for the moment, just make it work just for the resources. Every resources that a big player have, if one of their small players get zero, at least that resources he can extend up to that player.
Keeps people from quitting. How demoralizing is it when you get zeroed and then you have zero res to rebuild and no troops to farm with? You could get res back.
I mean, start with the small things, make it work. Start with resources, and if other players wanted to dispute that or wanted other things on that thing, then so be it. But for now, make it work, because if you click the info, it shows their load capacity, and load capacity means resources.
Yeah, and it gives you, they already have the breakdown for like how it would increase via like by level. I mean, they already have all the work in there. Like, I don't understand. Like,
I don't need 27 billion, you know, food and wood. I just don't. You know, I'll never be able to use that amount in the game that it is now. So if I could use that to help out an alliance member, you know, that is either struggling or, you know, real life is kind of like delaying them from farming, or someone is just attacking them on tiles and they can't farm it enough and they can't get strong enough and they'll quit the game. If I could use that to go ahead and help them along, why not?
Yeah.
You know, why not? We're not talking about changing.
Though, it is a trading post. It's not going to be like a giving post, right? So even if you put up like a bunch of your food, right? Chances are, let's say you put up your 800,000 food for somebody to get. They're probably going to have to go in and say, do you want to get the 800,000 food for 800,000 wood or 200,000 metal or 100,000 gas, whatever it is.
No. I thought it says the trade fee is it takes away that amount when you trade it.
No, that's how much you will lose in addition. That's like a cut for being a vendor. So they'll overcharge so that the trading post makes money. So it'll actually be even less.
Yeah, on top of what you send, you have the tax in it.
So you are saying, but you could set, but like in other games, you would set what your trade amount is. So like I could say, I'm going to trade delete 1 million wood for his 20 million iron or something like that, you know, but...
No, I think the way if they implement it would have to be something along the lines of the trading post is available to your alliance, right? you can put up to whatever your daily allowance is. They're going to cap it so that you can't put up like everything, but there will be a daily cap. And whatever your cap is, there's going to be a tax on top of it. They already have a conversion rate between food, wood, metal, and gas, right? So they would just add that conversion rate on top of it. So if you are putting up, let's just say 1 million wood, and there is a 10% tax, that means somebody's going to have to pay the equivalent of 1,100,000 wood of food in order to get it. So that may be 1,100,000 wood, or 500,000 something metal, or 200,000 something gas.
Which they kind of already do in the market stall, because
Exactly.
you can trade.
Yeah.
You can trade in the market stall and just be like, oh, it'll be like, okay, here's a million food for 500,000 in gas.
Exactly.
Or something random like that.
I don't know how that would work then. I don't know how that would be beneficial unless you have like everybody in the alliance say, okay, I'm only farming wood. I'm going to be a wood farmer and you're going to be this farmer and we're going to like trade off. I'm going to be all oil. What?
Right.
That's actually what they would do, because then you could have, like, let's say you pick, all right, you 3 people are going to do wood. So all of your skills for your chief gear level, all of your
talents,
heroes are going to be only farming wood. You're going to bump up all your wood buildings, and all your research is going to go to wood production and wood gathering. And it's like, you guys are the wood gatherers. Do what you need to do. Donate. And you got 4 people are going to do food, so you can put all of your skills into the food traits and not have to worry about, oh, I'm doing the skill tree. I got metal and gas, and then go food too. I mean, they could just do straight focus on one resource, and that's their job.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, anything to increase the strategy level of the game besides buy everything.
I agree. Or just have the alliance something else to do. Something else, something fun to kind of like play around with and theorize and like come up with some game ideas with them.
You want a fun potential thing you can trade if they could set it up?
What?
Your troops and your heroes. Based on your hero, there would be a cost where you could rent out if somebody wanted to.
Other games have that. Other games do that. Yeah.
So let's say Delete was willing to put up one of his heroes for like 3 hours. He would not have access for that for 3 hours, but somebody in the alliance could pay some cost that they would determine, and you can then rent out that hero for 3 hours by paying X amount of resources.
Could you
could do the same thing with troops.
Fun that would be as a free to player being able to just farm up enough that I can get Delete's heroes for 3 hours and wreck ship on the whole state.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, so each person can put up like one hero. There might be a certain number of troops they could put up as well. So you could even get maybe like a few plasma 5s in your rallies, whatever it is. And you just have to pay a bunch of resource costs to do it, but you would have the opportunity to do it.
And if there was a way that nobody, like it was you wouldn't be able to tell, or like it was done, if you did it really quickly right before a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that would put a whole new twist on things. Too.
Or if like your number 2 is not going to be on, you can go ahead and be like, all right, I'm going to put my heroes up so you guys can go ahead and use my heroes while I'm not around.
Oh my gosh.
Like something like that. That would be tremendous, and that would.
Finn, that's such a good idea.
Good job, Finn. Because that would bring, that would make resources actually valuable.
That would be
fun, because at a certain point,
too.
it's like, I'm only sending out my farmers to basically go ahead and get my dailies accomplished.
I used to have alarm set. All right, I got to go in. My farms are done. I got to go resend them out. I send out 1 farm to wood, food, gas, and metal a day. That's it. I mean, there's no point. I can't go through. I mean, I've got enough resources where it's going to be hard to go through them in the amount that I have left to research and what I have to upgrade. But it makes me a target because I'm sitting there with upwards towards a B on some resources. So and I'm just sitting there as a little 2-star. Like, anybody wants to come steal my resources, and it's a pretty penny. I mean, it'd be nice. So it's like I don't need to go farm until I use up what I have. I've got. I think I did the math like a month and a half ago. I've got 2.3 billion resources in items in my backpack.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really need it. I can just, if I don't need to farm for anything, I just do it for my dailies right now. And I'm trying to get rid of them by using the market stall. Like I do the 4 million wood or food for 5 speed ups. Whenever that comes up, I'm always spending my resources just to get rid of it so I'm not a target.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with that idea. I'm still thinking about that, Finn. That's the second good idea.
That's really good.
Yeah,
It's
Teddy,
good.
you missed one of his streams where he had a really good idea about how to make SVS more lower level incorporated, like where they could do in the newer states anywhere, where you could use the bunkers and the what do we call them? Oh my gosh, analysis centers.
The centers,
Yeah, the centers where those actually contributed to points, and you could actually use your smaller alliances to fight for those and like tiered levels. And Finn had a whole breakdown of
Yeah,
it.
and they would apply buffs. It'll be
Yeah.
like healing or attack or defense, you know,
Mhm.
so it expands your focus to just everyone looking at these 5 pieces of inventory. You now have 20 pieces across the map, or even more than that, to kind of battle for, you know, so it adds another strategic advantage to it. Like, oh, you know, this person's stats are a little bit higher. We need to go after these centers in order to kind of match them, you know, and then we can go back or something like that, and kind of like really, I mean, because it's 12 hours. It's 12 hours of your day, you know, and you're just fighting for 5 pieces.
Well, and
You
it's
know,
only
and-
the strongest
Yeah.
players. It's only the strongest
It's
alliances
always
doing that.
players.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the 10 through 15 alliances could go for those other buildings and try to like help out. No, I think it's a great idea. I think it would be great.
Yeah.
Meyer, I keep wanting to say Comrade Meyer, and I know it's Mayer, Comrade Mayer. He was talking about coming back to heroes topic. I would like to see uses for old generation heroes. Right now, it's always only max generation does best impact, and you can't counter it. Of course, if devs, I'm not gonna say it, but he said something funny. Only exception is 3 heroes in defense that make gameplay more interesting. I think what he's talking about is being able to like, we have no theory crafting ability with heroes, or we do have a little bit, but there's no like combining some old with news, some like counters that are interesting, because it's just basically meta all across top 3. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no combining of all these different hero situations. Teddy, have you ever thought of anything like that? I know that you have talked about it before. I think I heard you say it somewhere in one of the Discord servers.
About what counters you?
Yeah, about wanting to be able to use counters better and to be able to combine the heroes a bit better, because they're just kind of very one-dimensional right now.
But did that like 3 months ago, but then that was before I tank SVS. It happens in SVS where we can take out Generation 5 versus Generation 5. So we need to figure out on how to counter it. So we switch between heroes. And at one point we use Roxy, Ernie, and then I forgot the other hero that we did against the Generation 5 hero. But I think it also boils down to the joiners as well. The tier of the joiners, the skills as well. So I can't really confirm that specific set of heroes or squad of the rally leader is actually doing its trick to counter Generation 5, because there are a lot of factors to be considered, like tier of heroes that skills of heroes, level of skills of heroes that join that rally, the formation itself of how many infantry, the ratio of the troops that have been added, and at the same time the level of troops as well that has been added. So it's a lot of things to consider to see that specific setup of heroes actually works, unless you test it with the same amount of rallies, with the same stats of or skills of rally joiners, and then same stats of the rally leader, and at the same amount or formation of or the ratio of the troops, and at the same time the tier of the troops. So maybe if some people are going to do that and see if it really counters that, then we can have a valid, a point that this heroes, if you mix it with that, will counter this. Other than that, if we're just going to do that, this specific heroes counter this and that, but you have different levels of skills that has been added to your joiner, you have different tier of troops that has been added, as well as the formation, it's not really that doable as for me.
That was probably my biggest thing about the PTR is the fact that like the PTR, I wanted to kind of use the PTR to kind of test stuff like that, but it's tough to get involvement from enough people in the PTR,
Yeah.
even though a lot of the same faces are there, a lot of the same faces are there to just not really do too much. Like I want to see if like, okay, what if I put Kang, in as like, someone uses my stats, I use my top heroes, and then, the person that's leading the building uses Kang, which her skills are like, it's a 25% buff for this, and it's a 25% buff for
You
this.
said boof.
Yeah, I know. Totally said boof. And it was just like, wow, she could be an absolute killer with the way that the setup is right now, like where you just appoint, a new bunker lead and someone's got to take you out. But the game has just become, right now where it's like, okay, all right, he's in there. Now we're going to have to double rally it to get him out, and it's just like, okay, all right, now they're just going to double rally us to get us out. So, bunkers in 125 and facilities in 125 have all become 2-hour battles, because it's just whoever owns it at that last second, of the 2-hour battle, it's really who's winning it, so it's kind of like not really the purpose, that they think they intended, to allow for more hero use in buildings, but that's what it's become, as opposed to, deletes in there, his stats, we can't really beat it, so we'll just go from there. But it's a completely different dynamic, and I've tried to like see there's no place to really test things, and also you don't even know if the PTR battle mechanics are exactly the same as the battle mechanics of the game that you're actually playing, because they could be testing something in that PTR for battle mechanics also, and God knows, it felt like for a 3-month period, it was every time you logged into the game, every update, something changed drastic in the game. So it was like, it's just been really tough to kind of really dig in and find out what's going to work,
And the problem with what you just said too is that it's changes without even being told that there's change, and then we just kind of like realize
And in the game now, there are 2 battle mechanics itself, and not all players know that.
Oh, explain.
But it only works for trap, but then it's not known to all players.
Oh, you're talking about, I know what you're talking about.
Like,
It's considered, it's a bug, right? But not really a bug.
not just like what I said about ghost rallies. So before I don't talk, most of the time I don't really talk about like PvP. I just let other players talk, and I just read and I just watch, but I don't really comment on those aspect of the game. But then when someone asked about the ghost rally, I only started writing it on how it works when the developer said that it's not a bug, it's a strategy or something.
Did they say that? Did they officially say that?
Some they answered that to the customer service.
Wow.
Okay.
Devs though.
See, we were hesitant to talk about it because we didn't want it to be like a bug or an exploit that we were talking about. But if they,
it seems
so
like a bug.
I first encountered that when I was in state 77, and I think it was state 49 or state 42 doing it to state 77 in state versus state. And I was so confused, and I was like, how the hell they can rally themselves? And then that's when I started figuring it out, and then I asked other players around how that works. And then I thought it was a bug or a glitch. And then there came a message from the customer service explaining it. And it was even brought up to the devs, I think. But it didn't do anything. You can still do ghost rallies now, until now, at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, the way the mechanics change so much. Like, Teddy, and you probably seen this too, like in some of your old videos, but like our old streams when we were talking about like game mechanics and strategies and trying to explain to people how this game works, it's completely invalid now, like as far as like troop ratios and all of that stuff, I mean, like it's just all different. It's so frustrating.
I went back to my gameplay for Reservoir Raid before Plasma, I think until Plasma 3. That was like 4 or 5 months ago. And I can only I was only HQ 30 by then, and some of them are plasma 1 to 3. And I just send marches like a default march, and I'm okay. But now, if you do that in reservoir raid, you're likely die.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I was watching it, and I was like, oh, hell, I changed. But
Well, that's just the way that's the one thing that we've complained a lot about is just the way the troop mechanics change, which I don't mind mechanics changing and rebalancing a game. Like that happens in every game. You know, you rebalance things, you change mechanics up, you make things more interesting, or you just tweak it and make it more efficient. But there should be some kind of way for players to know that and kind of figure that out. And there's not really one. It's just trial and error, but there's not a really good way to test it here either. Like that's the problem too. There's not an efficient way to do testing in this game. And even in the PTR, like you said, Delete, it's not really every PTR or beta or what is it, test servers that I've been in other games, you have like a set of challenges that they ask you to, can you try this? Can you try that? See how this works. And they give you like kind of a list and a format that you follow that you're really actually being a tester. This is just them pretty much opening a reservoir raid for everybody to just go out and play in. I feel like that's what PTR is, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's frustrating.
I was able to give a suggestion to them last time that instead of opening PTR to everyone, why don't you just check out these players because they have a database. Why don't you check out the players that knows the game or how to play the game, or invite max players versus max, or invite F2P and F2P to play to go between each other and check things on how it works. But then they said, well, they opened PTR to everyone, and they don't give guidelines on what to do, on what feedback they need, on what things they need to check, or what are the feedback of the players, because I've been there since they opened PTR. And I just want to point out that PTR was actually suggested by Leo, but they never took credit for that.
Wow. So we were involved when they were talking about the PTR in the beginning, and it was the beta testing, a test server.
Yeah.
Because we've been pushing for it too. And that was our big issue, was like they had asked for who do you know that would be good for the beta testing and stuff, and they asked for names and locate and how they could get up with them, and we were like, oh, this is exciting. They're going to let us select people like, you know, content creators, some high ranking, high VIP players that really know the game to get in there. And then all of a sudden you see it on every Discord server. Get into the PTR. Here's a code for it. Here, just message this person. And now it's pretty much for everybody. So then it's not really a test server. Like you said, there wasn't any kind of objective or direction with what you were testing.
And then what pisses me off is what makes me frustrated is the fact that it's not even done in PTR, and I don't think they even read the feedback, but they already release it to the live server.
Yeah.
So what's the what's the point of PTR then?
It's a sneak peek. It's all it is a sneak peek for everybody.
Yeah, and to get people kind of basically sending it out in Discord.
No, you know what it is?
Like it's self-promotion.
No, it's not a sneak peek. It's a
wonder.
Oh, go ahead.
And then they wonder why players get mad, especially that plasma research last time.
Well, that's what I think it is. I don't think it's a sneak. I think it's a sneak peek. It's a gauge. They are using it as a community player-based gauge. They want people to get into the PTR and see how they react to some of the things that they're thinking about releasing. If people are too angry about it, then they'll tweak it a little bit. But if people are okay, excited about it, great, let's roll it out. Like, I really feel like it's kind of like just a gauge of, can we get away with this or not?
I've always been, my whole thing about the PTR is they should give you a base, and it should be random. If you're a max player, maybe they give you a free-to-play base, or if you're, if you're free-to-play player, maybe they give you a max base. So this way there's some consistency to it, so that you can actually get to test, actually test the game, because every time I go in there, I get pissed off that my base is still not right. oh, it was like I have no T11s in this one. And it's like, okay, I can't build this, or my skins are gone, or there's always something really random that's just like wrong with my base. I'm like, well, I can't do anything with that. What am I supposed to
Yeah.
do with that? And it's just like, okay. And then people are like super excited about going and playing Capital in the PTR. And I'm like, what is that? Like I don't care about Capital and PTR, and people are just
Mhm.
like, oh, this is awesome. And I'm like, man, this is not what this is supposed to be. You know what I mean? I think
Well,
that the
Yeah.
list of tasks should be absolutely, this should be like, okay, complete these. And then if you go a certain amount of PTRs where you haven't completed the task, then you should be out.
Mhm.
You should just be done. You should be done.
well,
Or
Because you're
one
not
thing to
using the
put it,
PTR.
or one thing to put it is, for example, for this round of PTR, we are going to test chief gear. So instead of copying the base of each player, why don't we give each player are going to test the same stats?
oh my gosh. That
Yeah.
honestly, that's the easiest fix. Give everyone
Yeah.
the same base so that they
Yeah,
can
and let them build.
test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
like
give them
Mako,
lists to do.
look at Mako. If Mako got into the PTR, which I wanted him to get into, but like he could transfer, like if he was a free to play player and he gets his base into the PTR, there's not really any efficient testing trying to compete against someone like a maxed out player somewhere in there. Like he's a smart guy and could test very well. Like I've never seen anybody that breaks down. Him and Finn both break down stats and break down how to do like what's going on with things better than anybody. So why not give
That's
him a
why I
max
don't
account?
want that actually.
Yeah.
I
Why?
don't actually want that. What I would rather have them do is give us unlimited resources to boost our bases and give us two of our own bases. Because then you know that your base, because none of the combat in this game is synchronous, right? I could easily create an encampment somewhere with a bunch of troops and then send my own troops with the exact same matchup to fight it and be able to do that with two bases. And I could level up two bases at the same time so I can fight against myself. Because it's going to be very difficult for me to find somebody with the same stats as I do. So I would much
Oh, you
rather
mean
have
to like have your equal stats exactly built
exactly.
the
So
same
I
way?
would much rather have two copies of my own base and then unlimited bios or whatever it is to upgrade if I want to get to max. But I do want to test where I am at Plasma 1, and then if I can, test at Plasma 2, test at Plasma 3, to whatever it is so I can see that progression. I don't want to go straight to max because then you ignore all of the testing of everything below the max,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So the easiest way is just to double up my own base and then give resources so you can boost.
That works as well. Yeah, that's fair.
Well, we've
But
covered
then if they're going to invite all players, like they should split it then. You can't mix a max player to an FTP or a low spender in PTR because they're just going to end up killing each other there. And you can
Right.
Why do they put Capital Clash in every PTR? What's the point for it? Part of the test.
Don't see. This is why I love Teddy. She's hilarious. Why?
I mean, I always have something to complain, but especially if I'm always going to PTR. Like, why would you do Capital Clash on a certain thing that you're not even testing it?
Yeah, I don't
Right.
understand why they would put Capital Clash in there. Do people
I don't
actually?
get it.
Question: can you spend money in PTR?
Nope.
So then why? Why are they doing that then? I could see it. I mean, I guess if they're like, this is an extra place for us to make money in, but like, why would they put that in there?
You can have two bases in PTR. Yeah, because it's a glitch, and Gia have that last time.
Oh wow.
Who said that? Somebody said you can have two bases in there.
Leo said it.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
there's
And
nothing
then they
wrong
have
with
to-
having. Go ahead, Teddy.
Yeah, go on, Finn.
No, I was just gonna say there's nothing wrong with having Capital Clash in there because it might be something to test, but the rest of the important testing is not really available. That's the problem. So the only it's always focused on Capital Clash. Like the one time I went on there, because I went to the first PTR, one kind of like what Teddy said, like they released it, I think, even before the PTR ended. So that was kind of weird. And it's like they're not really listening to the feedback necessarily. So that is a concern. But the other part is I went in at that time as like an HQ 30, and you have like all these people with like 8 times my BP. And so there's literally like nothing I can do. And so it became frustrating. That's why I was saying, like, I need a copy of my own base. I could fight like a copy of the Finn base and be able to test out a whole bunch of things. But if I'm by myself and everybody else is a Plasma 5, yeah, it's not going to really help me any. I'm not going to be of any benefit, because what am I going to do? Attack a Plasma 5? Oh, my troops died. Well, that's different than what happens in the regular game. No. So it's just having all the features available isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just they need to improve the way that players can actually do the testing in the PTR to make it more valuable for them and for us.
I think
Yeah, it's a good idea, but just like a lot of things in the game, it's just got to be tweaked. It's got to be tweaked to make the experience better.
I think it's just too big right now. They can't tweak it now because it's basically open to anybody and everybody. I feel like if they really want to tweak the PTR to make it the most efficient, they're really going to have to minimize how many people they can get in. And they really should have people like that can really give them clear feedback on it. Like, like Teddy, delete.
Yeah, and who want to.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, somebody said so many questions and so many little answers. It's like, that's basically what our stream is us just having all these questions and waiting for an answer for it. But, yeah.
And the next thing that they need to work on with as well is their customer service.
Oh,
they changed it, but now the customer service, even if they don't answer you correctly, is going to ask you, can you please rate me 5 stars? Like, why would I rate you 5 stars if you're not even giving me the right answer, though?
I saw that.
That is so... I mean, and that's a complete response that we bash customer service so frequently on the stream, because it's awful. They don't give you an answer, and they're like, thank you for your inconvenience. And you're like, what? Thanking me for my inconvenience?
Thank you for your inconvenience.
And then it's just like, this is closed. This is now closed.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question. This is closed. And you're like, another 24 hours passes. Like, I'm actually not done. Oh, you need to put in a new ticket. And you're like, what? And it's another 48 hours goes by before you get a response. And it's just like, this is so bad. It's so bad.
I think it's like any other customer service. It's outsourced. The beginning first 2 or 3 tiers are outsourced to just like general, like turn your computer on and off kind of thing answers, just like with any other customer service help desk. And so then you have to escalate it up. You have to get your question escalated up to get to actual players, like customer service that know the game. It takes a while to get escalated up, which shouldn't happen. But I mean, at the same time, I try to think of this in the terms of like how many tickets are probably put in. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine like the questions that you get? Think about the questions that you get in your alliance chat, like just ridiculous questions. I like to say there's no dumb question, but there are some dumb questions. You can't help but say that there are some. And can you imagine how many tickets are put on a daily basis that are just like, not worth trying to answer? So maybe that's why they have that couple of tiers first to kind of weed it out. But
then you got to put a better frequently asked questions list out there.
Probably.
Yeah.
People won't answer it. People won't access it. You can have a FAQ out there. People are still asking the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they even read. There are some informations there in game, but they don't even read.
No, you have people all the time that's just like, where do I find this information? Go to your event session, or like the little airplane. Nobody knows where this little airplane is. They're like, what is that thing? And I was like, oh gosh, does anybody? I push every single button in a game. I'm like every single spot I'm touching. You have a lot of people.
Like the airplane was like pretty hot for a while, and then it's been cold for a while.
Yeah, that annoys the heck out of me too, because like that's a perfect spot to put more guides, like I think that's one that Teddy had talked about. Like, you're doing guides now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why won't they put them in the game?
They added it. 3 of my guides were posted, but I think they only posted it from state 1 and then state 596 to 601, but not the entire states.
So this would be a perfect place to put it. Recommended, put some guides in the game. I mean, like, they've got this more strategy where it's like the basic stuff, but if you notice, that is all obsolete stuff. I mean, like, it's
So
stuff
most of
from,
them does not work as
Yeah.
it is.
it's from the beginning of the game. It's not anything updated. So I don't know why why don't they use that more often? So that would be great to do. I got rid of the Z tab. Yeah, I know. So the Z tab was what showed you
Who
who's
helped you. And,
yes.
Yeah. And
What?
now you can see who stoked you now.
What?
But it's a way of checking who checks your...
Yeah, you could see who's looked at your settlement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did they take that out?
No
I always
idea.
thought it was a symbol for Zillow when I first joined the game. I was like, "What? They're doing real estate in the game? What
How
the
much
hell?"
is my settlement worth on Zillow?
Yeah,
Got good schools.
I saw that Z symbol. I'm like, "That's Zillow." Wait, what? So
That's funny.
Let me go to state 1. I'm gonna check if it is there.
Is it still there in state 1?
Let me check.
So Leo is a player. He's from first state. He's from state 1 too.
Yeah. We used to be in the same alliance and he kicked me out. It's so bad. Now he kicked me out because I'm not productive there. I just go down and do dailies.
you should talk to Durgan. He has stories about being kicked out of an alliance.
Speaking of that, I've got code number 3. Code number 3 is McVenom Kick Club.
Very appropriate.
Durgan's the number 1 member there.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple other ones, and I think that came from, you know who in our alliance got kicked recently in a trap. I kicked him out, right?
Oh, ouch.
So yeah, in state 1, they changed that plain thing there. You can see the new setup. They have the community, they have the recommend, the version, and then the worldview. And then there are 3 parts for that. They have the strategy, hero, novice, and advanced, and then they have the videos there.
In state 1.
Yeah.
So you have your videos are there.
Not my videos, but SOS videos. But for the strategies, they added my guide for, let me see, what that, showdown, warfare, state warfare, and then the reservoir raid. That's what they have added there. And then a few, like the basic guides.
Well, that's
But you
not
can
fair.
from state 1
All the
to
state
state
ones,
awards.
all they get your guides and we don't get your guides. That's not fair.
That's one thing I'm disputing the moderators in general SOS. Well, if links are not allowed, then how come the game released it on state 1 and other states? So I can't link that guide there?
Yeah. That's the thing we were talking about earlier, Delete. Teddy has gotten her videos taken down in the official state SOS Discord because they have links in there to like guides and stuff. But the guides are in the game.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what she was talking about, how she's constantly like arguing with them about stuff in those other Discords that the content creators are in because it's just like it's ridiculous.
It just seems like they have too many teams, and none of the teams actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
They're all moving in a different direction, and like nothing's like talked about.
Yeah, because they post it on Facebook, they post it on Twitter, they post it on Instagram, and there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You know what that sounds like, right, Delete? It sounds like government bureaucracy. Every single government bureaucracy works that exact same way.
Like, this is my spot, but come here.
Mm-hmm. it is paperwork, and it's a bunch of subdivisions that don't know what the other divisions are doing, and then it's just all kinds of randomness.
Oh my gosh, it is like that. You're right.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're in. We're in a government bureaucracy.
I mean, ugh.
I used to get frustrated for that, but now I just give up. I was like, okay, I'll just do what I want.
That sounds like people with government too.
They just give up.
I'm just getting frustrated. That's good.
Just giving everyone lighting slippers.
Oh my gosh, I just realized I haven't used my own codes yet.
I hope they're still
and
there.
It's already like past 11.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up real quick. Let me try to get my codes in. Watch, they'll be all used up.
Mm-hmm. They're all gone.
Let's see. I'm gonna try it. What was? I don't even remember
I
the
hope
first
Nikki
one.
got a chance to use Choco Nikki.
Choco Nikki.
It happened to me every Sunday. I can't play my codes.
Because that's just the way it happens. One time, Teddy, we had codes, and the first code is used up. The first one is. Let me check the second one. But it was Hunter. What was it, Finn? It was the stabby, grabby.
Yeah.
Pokey,
Punchy,
pointy,
shooty.
whatever,
Yeah.
shooty. Well,
Dabby, punchy, and shooty.
yeah, but we didn't put the codes out there, but because we had talked about them, I guess, or something like that.
No, that's not the one that got copied.
Oh.
The one that like ran out before was actually just the bunker.
And somebody guessed it.
Mm-hmm.
They guessed it.
Yeah.
And it got ran out before
Posted
we
in
put
the
it up.
SOS official Discord as a code. So everybody got the bunker as a code before we could even put it on stream.
So it's all gone out?
Yeah, because they guessed it before we
They
even
just guessed
put
it
out.
as the bunker. Mm-hmm.
I think I learned from that because usually when I stream for the Reservoir Raid, I use my YouTube channel or my name. Now I change all the codes that no one knows what codes am I going to use.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so the devs are giving us random codes now too. So McVenom Kick Club is not something easy to guess.
Apparently.
Except for Durgan, who may have been entering it in for the past like 8 days and finally got rewards for it.
Who was it? Jeremy said something about the next code's going to be Boof.
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 It's possible. Boof is going to be one.
Nailed it. Get your boofs in.
Get your Boof. Oh my gosh. If it is Boof, I'm going to laugh so hard. Somebody's already going to try it. But yeah. Question: when do devs stop manipulating ranking during events in older states? Ooh, Leo hitting with those hard questions there. We'll save that one for another stream.
I don't even know how to answer that one because that's got to be a big point of contention, because there's a lot of people that out there that are going to like in SBS and they're fighting like the same states also, which is really annoying.
Yeah, Jeremy said he had the same states how many times? Or one of them was like really OP.
Some of them like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like that should not happen. Like
That's awful.
It really shouldn't.
That's one of the worst questions that players always ask me, and I don't even know how to answer. Like, how do we match with the same states than SBS? How are we match with bigger players or bigger alliance in Reservoir Raid? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know what to answer.
Yeah, nobody really knows the matchmaking, how it's set. Because for a while there, we thought it was certain, one thing versus another thing with the raid scores or this or that. But it's like it doesn't seem like it's.
Well, it may be. There's another mobile game that we cover that requires lightsabers that I won't name, but that mobile game has a game mode where you fight like another group, but what they did in order to make sure you prevent it is that you don't face them again for 10 fights after you face them. So they manually coded something that even though their algorithm may say you two are exactly the same, you don't face them for another 10 matches. So you're forced to have a difference matchup. That's probably what they need to implement here. I don't know what their algorithm is to see whether or not it's actually close in terms of how they do the rankings, but they need to put in something where maybe because of how spaced out it is, you don't face them for at least like 5, maybe 10, whatever it is, and that's how you separate it. So you don't have to change the algorithm. You force it to pair you up with someone else for a limited amount of time.
They do have to do something with the whole matchup thing, because like the question now is like the Nations Cup thing, right? With that, when you're playing with like real money rewards and things like that, you got to get really serious about making sure that your algorithms are not only good but they're transparent. You know?
Yep.
I wonder if they're going to try and prevent also the like, you know, where people just make the super alliance. You know, where it's like, okay, we need the 50 top players in our state to join up. Yeah, to just join up. You know, like, because that's kind of like, all right. I mean, I guess you could do it, you know, but kind of goes against, you know, what they're probably trying to make it.
Well, it's not that they could; they will do that. I mean, like that's going to happen. I think, right? In the older state, if they bring that Nations Cup to the lower, you know, mid states and stuff like that, that's what's going to happen. Talk about families being broken up. It's going to be like people bailing quick when they can get into like a top alliance to compete and actually win real money with this. Because I don't, you know, these guys spend way more money than what they're going to be making back in return, but it's more so about the glory and saying that we won this. Yeah. Teddy, you're in that Nations Cup in the new state, right? You've been playing it.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think? What's just your first quick opinion about it?
I think it's fair because for this state, 607 to 118, because all the players are new, except when they that information, and then of course old players from old states moved to that state to play it.
Right.
So it's for now. I don't really understand how this works because it's the event itself doesn't really work as it is. Like the interface is not working well because they split into 4 region. But I was thinking that how are they going to split the region if in one alliance there are a lot of different players and it is so diverse from different countries? So what they did here is when the leader is going to register their alliance, that leader is allowed to choose which state or region they are going to register. So my leader is the US, so he registered to North America. So I am in Vietnam now. Some of our players are in the US, some are in Europe, but we are under North America. We are playing under North America now.
So you can, no matter where you're at, you can register what state you're going to be in? What region?
So it says here on the interface of the registration, it's alliance name and regional group. You can change your regional group. Your regional group is, you can choose North America, Europe, Southeast, what's the other one? East Asia, and then Southeast Asia and Middle East. So there are 4. Then you can choose from that. And then you can choose the name and the email and the phone. I'm not really sure why they need that, because I'm not a leader. So that is up to my leader who registered it. I think what they did is they are getting the numbers and the email of the leaders for them to talk with the leaders for the dispute later on, because it involves money.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But other than that, it's pretty much similar to reservoir raid.
Yeah.
The game and all you just do is just collect water, win every fight, every reservoir raid that you have, and rank up. And then after that, you are going to be matched with 4 region. It's region versus region. So North America will go head to head with Europe, and then East Asia and Southeast Asia and Middle East is on Group B. And then the winner of those 4, one winner per group, then that will go to finals. So whoever is going to win against North America and Europe is going to go against who is going to win against East Asia, Southeast Asia, and Middle East. And we're going to like top 3 of that.
I think most people wouldn't, but I think there's a lot that would. I know there's some people on 125 that would. We know who we're talking about. They would do it. It's nothing. It's, to some people that's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
For saying that we are the whole game champions, because that's basically what you're saying is, we're the best in this whole game.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And there's some people that are spending, that almost like monthly anyway. So like it doesn't, who knows? I don't know. I think it is. Apex says this is an interesting way that they went going about this. I do too. Like how they're releasing it in the newer state thing. Like my question is like how they're going to release it into older states, or are they just going to keep it in the new states and move it forward? That's what I question, because they said something about how they're going to possibly open it up into other states. I don't know how they can do that with matchmaking and stuff like that. I think they're going to leave it and push forward with the states from there on.
That's interesting because in Reservoir League, we have the rule of 256, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
56. I'm not really sure how are they going to incorporate the Reservoir Nations Cup to the old state. Maybe they will do still top 20 alliance for you to qualify, but after that, what's next? What are the rules? Because there are a lot of players there who are wanted to do that.
I don't know. It is. I'm ready to see how this plays out. Like it's finished in March, right? End of mid-March or something like that.
Yeah, the semifinal will be on March 13 at 11 UTC. That will be that is North America versus Europe, East Asia versus Southeast Asia. Semifinal is March 14 and March 13.
Yeah, I guess we'll know then. Apex said maybe they will integrate it in with the existing RR system. And Mayor said for now, Reservoir League is most interesting event in the game, and I agree with that. Especially when players want to see it, how others play between each other. So I'm sure the Cup will be popular too. I think it'll be popular too. I don't know how they're going to integrate it into other states. He said future nations cups will states 1 through 100, 101 through 200, so on and so forth. Do you think they're really going to do that? Have they said they're going to do that? Or are we just kind of like speculating?
Well, they did that Reservoir League by battle zones.
Yeah.
And there are 5 battle zones at the moment. But how are they going to put that in old state?
I don't know how they would do that.
I was even thinking that now in Reservoir League, we have 5 champions per battle zones. And players wanted those champions to go fight each other for the final fight.
Oh, that would be, yeah.
They wanted that. They're like talking about it. Well, what about after the finals of Reservoir League? Oh, those 5 champions are going to go head to head, and who has the most fights winning is the final champion.
It's so weird how they've opened things up. So I don't know. I guess we just have to wait and see how it plays out. It's so weird. It's interesting though, but I don't know why they take their most interesting event in the game and then make something else out of it instead of like taking one of the boring events and making something more interesting out of that one. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand why they take something that already has a lot of interest, that already we are happy with. Why would they take that and duplicate it? Why wouldn't they take something else and try to make that more interesting? Or maybe I'm thinking about it the opposite way. Maybe they should do it this way. I don't know.
To be fair, they did kind of, right? They did update Trap before they started working on this.
Hoard's the next thing they got to update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll give them little credit for multitasking in this, that they're doing both. So.
Yeah. When they really, yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's give them credit.
I'm going to love them if they are going to implement that Hoard. Just like 41 minutes in total instead of 2 hours. I can last 2 hours watching my base getting attacked by zombies. Mm-hmm. No way.
Mm-hmm. It would be so good if they would do that. And make it more like a Reservoir raid timing versus it's so exhausting. Does anybody here play it fully all the way to end besides Finn?
I used to. I don't do it anymore.
Mako, you do it, don't you? Do you play it beginning to end?
I used to. Now that I can withstand level 9 or stage 19 by myself, I don't.
Really? You don't do it at all? Yeah. Frog, I think it was Froggy or somebody said they'd rather pluck out their eyebrows with with a pair of pliers than do another explorer trail. So it's like, I was like, girls do that all the time, dude. I plucked my eyebrows yesterday.
Pliers?
Not with pliers. They're like little tweezers. They're like pliers. But yeah, the explorer trails are so. I have so much bread still. Like I hate explorer trails. I hate.
I'm gonna get to spread all my bread soon. I've been collecting.
You should be able to do like 10 at a time. Just auto it without even going.
You should have an auto.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've seen Teddy put that in with her suggestions? Like, why can't we?
I'm so annoyed with that.
Why can't we use like just an auto finish? Like, so there's a lot of games that we have that does you an auto result of the battle if you had it on auto. Like you hit a button and it tells you the outcome of the battle if you were to play it on auto, right? So you just hit a button and whether you win or lose, whatever, that's it because you had it on auto set. But you should have that option to do that.
It's also a pain. It's also really random that it scales up with you. You know, like I can't auto the toughest mission with a completely max account on Explorer. I can't auto that and do it completely. My guys die. They die. Best heroes, whatever the case may be, you can't just go through it.
With a
or
max
like
account, you can't do it.
Like an abandoned rail yard, I can't run through that. I have to like literally just go straight to the boss or else I'll lose somebody. And it's just like, for what?
I did not know that. I didn't know it strengthens as you like.
It strengthens with you, and it's crazy. I'm like, all right, abandoned rail yard, and I'm like, all right, I'll get some like XP books.
Maybe they think you want the practice. Like, maybe they think, he needs a challenge because he's not challenged enough in the game.
They don't do that for anything else though.
That's
just
true.
explore mission. It's crazy.
That is crazy, but yeah, they should give you like some kind of like quick finish. Finn likes doing the explorer missions.
I'm looking forward to spending all my bread.
Oh my gosh, how do you do all that? Like, I don't understand how you can just sit there and do explorer missions all day long.
I will.
They did set it up where it'll like vibrate your phone when it's done.
Yeah,
so you don't have to stare at it.
I just cook. I put it on while I'm cooking, or like when I'm at work when I'm supposed to be working. I'll just have to keep my phone like sitting over there.
That's what it's gonna be. I'll be like working, and I'll just have it open. So I'll do an explorer.
But you know what the problem with that is though, because somebody thinks that you're online, and so if you're getting attacked or something, they're like, "Oh, she's online. It's okay." I'm like, I'm not really online, so I might get zeroed right here because everybody thinks. Same way with Delete did that one time and got hit.
Aww.
He didn't get zeroed.
I see little Mako.
Oh, look.
Oh, baby.
Oh, you gotta hold it.
I can't see. I don't have gallery set up on my phone.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
I need Mako to make noise.
Oh my
Mako,
goodness.
make noise so you pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
There it is. Oh my god.
Oh, little Mako's waving. Little Mako wave.
Saying hi. Saying, hey, the burger.
That's awesome.
What's up, burger? So cute. I think we're gonna call it, guys, because we have been talking for like it's almost 11:30. Oh my goodness. I can never keep these streams short. We always end up talking. And we never, ever, ever stay on the topic that we decide we're going to stay on. We always end up going off on other tangents.
General guideline.
But that's kind of what it's fun. It's just a general discussion. We're just talking, round table talking.
We're just chit-chatting.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody that's been on the stream. Of course, Delete, Finn, Mako, but especially Savagery Gaming, Miss Teddy. I appreciate you joining. I'm so glad that you finally came on. I hope you can join us any other time you feel like it. Please come on and grace us with your presence because we love you. Thank you for all that you do as
Thank
far
you,
as
guys.
with the collab team. Thank you for all of your guides and your vids. I've learned a lot and I'm still learning from you. So keep making that content for us, please. We need it.
I will end up playing SOS.
What
If
will
I
we do?
They need to step up their game. I mean, on some aspect, I commend them for the other things that they do, like for the horde, for the trap, for the update of other things. But for the repetitive events, they should have start doing something that is more engaging to their players. That's all I want to say.
She's like, one more thing that you need to do before I go. No, I agree. So yeah, if we want to keep Teddy playing and making guides for us, then you need to do something with the game devs. Listen to her and the content creators.
I mean, I love the game. I love the people. I love the community. But then it boils down to the repetitive events. I commend SOS for doing a good job when it comes to other aspect, like hearing some parts of the players, like for example the plasma and then the horde and the trap, like I said. But for the events, they should have done better for, especially for the old ones, especially delete. The least it's from the old state.
I know.
As bored as me as well. I'm not even as old as him, but you know. And thanks for the opportunity, guys, and thank you for hanging out with you.
Oh, it was fun. We enjoyed it.
I had fun with you all. Just wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh, good. Anytime. You can come back anytime on the good old Burker. Anytime you want to come, join. It'll be a good time. Finn, are we playing Among Us after this? There's no Capital Clash tomorrow. There's no State SBS tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm because we are playing on Sunday. For me, I don't play State versus State. We play on Sunday for Reservoir League.
Wait, isn't our one? I'm not waking up for it, but two, doesn't it start?
Capital Clash.
Capital Clash does.
Not State versus State.
Not State versus State, but
Clash.
Capital
Sorry, when I'm still tanking it because I'm nervous for Sunday.
Yeah, no, Capital Clash is still opening.
I mean, me.
I have a day plan tomorrow though, so I will not be.
Ooh.
All right. If you guys want to join in on the RSG after stream, I might pop on for a little bit because this is the first time that I don't.
Letty is all for Among Us.
Letty, she's so sus. If anybody wants to play Among Us, we might play that for a little bit afterwards. Mako, thank you for joining too. Always a pleasure. Congratulations on the new baby. So cute.
Thank you very much.
Delete your mom's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday to mom.
Happy birthday, dear mom.
I know, my sweet mom, my angel.
Sweet angel mama, delete there. Thank you guys. We will see you on Friday next week. I think, yeah, there's nothing going on next week. There will be out of town. So we appreciate all of you tuning in and we will see you later. Okay, bye.